that plot line showed for me how Star Wars should be doing fan service from this point on.
Yes, agreed.
Or, I just teach anybody storytelling where if you want to reference something, don't just reference it. Don't put a spotlight on it. Make it an organic part of your plot. For fans who know the history, and I'm not claiming to be one of them. I'm sure you probably do. Fans who know the history, they will be familiar with that crate dragon, that creature, because in the first Star Wars, that huge skeleton is apparently the skeleton of a crate dragon. Also, those real nerds, now did you know all this?
Yes.
Goddamn.
I didn't know. I'm letting you go.
No, I believe. No, I'm sure you would correct me. That's why I thought you didn't know it, because I was like, he ain't correcting me yet.
You're actually getting it right.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
I'm sitting here amazed right now. I'm just all right. Wow. So
Wow, okay,
how long I can go for.
Furthermore, real nerds will know that you might have recognized the sound, because it turns out that one of our favorite Jedis is so badass that he actually speaks Crate Dragon, which he used to scare the Sand People, aka Tuscan Warriors.
That's good. Tuscan Raiders.
Just fuck, I know.
Tuscan Raiders. You got it wrong.
No, the test. You got it right. Good job.
Thanks.
No, the Tuscan Raiders, aka the Sand People. That's what a certain Jedi used to scare them off when we were first introduced to a certain character. Like they left
it does make that scene have more meaning to it, because before it's just like a guy just waving his arms around going,
That's his drunk old Uncle Ben.
yeah, they left because of that. It was like, oh, he's that drunk motherfucker again.
Hey, y'all get away from that car. Hey, Charles. Hey, I know who that car. Hey. No, that is a crate dragon. But I love the way they didn't give a shit about that third one. They just left his ass behind.
That's
Yo, wait up, man. Hey.
That's a consistent thing with the Tuscan Raiders in this episode. It's like, hey, if you're the last one behind, you.
They don't care.
They don't give a shit.
They don't care. You better learn. You better know how to run. Did you wear your good shoes today? Because we will leave your ass behind.
Yep.
We told you before we left the cave. There's something about this episode that I really, really like, talking about all this, is how now we have some development and exploration of the Tuscan Raiders, to where they're not just some boogeyman or other. They we're seeing they're almost an analog to Native Americans.
Totally.
Which begs the question: is calling them Sand People kind of racist?
Yeah, it is. But that's back in the day. You know? That's back during that day.
Well, it's like, you're absolutely right. Where this whole episode is the settlers and the Native Americans joining forces and everything, and they have their own names for the Tuscan Raiders, because that's what their that's what their names is. Actually, they call them Sand People, which is almost like a slur. I was like, that is really inspired that you're taking that from real history and applying it to your Star Wars. That was great. That's great storytelling.
These Tuscan Raiders, they're no longer just faceless villains,
savages.
If you could even say that, it was just like they were just forces that were supposed to be there just to throw somebody off or offer an obstacle. They're no longer that. They've gone in and give them depth. They've made them characters. They made them they give them depth because they're somewhat reasonable. They're not just mindless creatures out there. They probably had now I feel like looking at this, they have their own side of story. And they actually explored that right there in that scene with Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah.
Where they got into it like saying, hey, you killed our people, well, you know what, and who knows what their side of the story is. Again, this is not just something where, hey, remember the Sand People from all the other movies? It's like, no, let's make them a part of the story by making them actual characters.
Yeah.
And that's what The Mandalorian is doing much better than any Star Wars spinoff or franchise or movie or anything right now. I even dare say the game, the
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order, getting that is great, but because of the game, they have to stop and you have to like play a long time.
Story's not always the focus when you're playing the game. It's about the gameplay itself.
But The Mandalorian is getting straight up into like storytelling, and now they're taking the lore of Star Wars and not using it simply to parade out just for fans. They're taking the lore and they're developing that lore. This is what I've been saying the whole time. This actually right here, this what they're doing here This means something. I've been saying this the whole time. Y'all thought I was just being sour. Where you know, like some people do. You want to defend Star Wars so much that you're saying like, well, you're just mad because it's not your Star Wars. Well, yeah, because the Star Wars I grew up with actually told a story a whole lot better. It has nothing to do with a generational thing. I appreciate The Mandalorian going under the care of somebody like Jon Favreau now, and what's his name, Filoni, Dave Filoni. And those guys are like, all right, we know a lot of Star Wars. Let's just take that knowledge and actually apply it to world building. Let's not apply it to just parading this out, just so people can point and be like, oh, I remember that. Everybody can learn from this. Speaking of Disney, Marvel can start to learn from this. DC can learn from this. People who just want to tell stories.